everyone and welcome to my channel. On Sunday, after nearly 3 years, the first episode of The Last of Us Season 2 will finally be released. In this video, I'll go over everything you need to remember so you can enjoy Season 2 even more. There's a lot to cover, almost 10 hours of story. The story begins in the year 2003 in Jakarta, Indonesia. That's where scientists first realized that one of humanity's old fears has become real. You may already know that the story of The Last of Us is inspired by real science. There's a real fungus called cordyceps. In real life, it only infects insects. Many medicines are made from similar types of fungi, especially those that affect the brain or cause hallucinations. Here's how cordyceps works. When it infects an ant, it releases special chemicals that take control of the ant's brain. It forces the ant to walk to a perfect spot for the fungus, somewhere warm, humid, and with just the right amount of sunlight. Once the ant gets there, it locks itself in place. Then the fungus grows inside the ant, breaks through its head, and releases spores to infect other ants. Its main goal is to survive and spread. What's really creepy is that this fungus doesn't just control living insects. Even if the insect dies, the fungus can still move its body, sometimes just the head, to take it where it needs to go. Over time, this fungus has mutated and can now infect other insects, even scorpions. But here's the good news. It doesn't affect humans, at least not in real life. That's because the human body is too warm. Cordyceps can't survive at our body temperature, which is around 37 degrees Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let's talk about the world of The Last of Us. In this world, the cordyceps fungus is facing extinction because of global warming. So it's at a turning point. Either it dies out or it mutates. In the story, this mutation happens suddenly. In the year 2003, in Indonesia, one of the largest flower producers in the world, mutated fungi spread through flower storage tanks. The infected flour is packaged and shipped around the world. And within just one day, people everywhere start consuming it. Joel and his daughter Sarah almost got infected too. That morning, they were looking for flour to make pancakes, but they couldn't find any. It was Sarah's birthday. Later that night, Joel forgot to buy her a birthday cake. Their neighbor offered them some cookies, but they turned them down because Sarah didn't like raisins. These little choices saved their lives. But the rest of the people in their city weren't so lucky. Many of them ate the infected flour, and the outbreak started. The city collapsed in just a few hours. Things happened so fast that some stores had signs saying, "Be back in 5 minutes," but those 5 minutes never ended. Restaurants still had full drinks on the tables, as if time had frozen. That's how suddenly the world ended. Sadly, during the chaos, Joel's daughter Sarah was killed. On the night the world collapsed, we learned some important things about this new reality. First, we find out that dogs can sense infected people. Second, we learn that Joel's top priority is his family. This is a key part of his character. When others ask him for help, he refuses because his only goal is to protect his daughter. Next, we find out that the cordyceps fungus grows in the human brain and spreads through bites. The time it takes for someone to turn into a zombie depends on where they're bitten. Neck bite, 15 minutes. Arm or shoulder bite, 2 to 7 hours. Leg or foot bite, 12 to 24 hours. Because the infection spreads so fast, even the people in charge, including government leaders, get infected. The system completely breaks down. After the military collapses, the remaining authorities decide to bomb entire cities on a massive scale. They collect whatever resources they can and retreat to small, safe zones. Only people who are confirmed to be uninfected are allowed in. Once inside, they lock the doors to keep everyone else out. But here's the dark part. They destroy entire cities, even killing people who weren't infected. Why? Because they said they didn't have enough resources to feed everyone, and they couldn't risk letting people go. They might get infected later and become a threat. So anyone they couldn't feed was taken to mass graves and killed. Joel's daughter was killed by a soldier during the chaos. It was a heartbreaking and cruel decision, but sadly it was part of a larger plan. The truth is, this brutal method actually worked. Cities that didn't take extreme measures were completely destroyed. The few cities that did act harshly managed to survive, barely, and build a broken system to keep things under control. Joel was in Texas. There, the soldiers tried to contain the outbreak, but they failed. As a result, the entire city fell, and Texas was wiped out. But the main city where our story takes place is different. They closed off part of the city, built a wall around it, and cut off everything else. They retreated into a safe corner and bombed over 90 cities to stop the infection. That's how they managed to survive. The military system now in control is called Fedra. Fedra rules with extreme cruelty. They have strict laws, and even small mistakes are punished by death. In Fedra-controlled areas, resources are so limited that people are forced to do desperate things. For example, when Joel was trading pills, he said, "Give me the bag back." That's because even the bags from the dead are reused or sold. Bodies are burned to prevent infection. The soldiers patrol the streets with guns always pointed at civilians. It's a harsh and fearful world. Now, let's talk about Joel's character. In this brutal world, Joel gives himself one clear purpose. Take care of your family. That's what keeps him going. That's how he survives. On the other hand, Joel's brother is different. He's always wanted to save the world, even before the outbreak. He joined bigger causes and systems, always looking for a way to make a difference. By the way, Joel's brother was also a soldier. At that time, Joel was just a simple carpenter. His only job and his biggest joy was being a loving father to his daughter. But when the world ended and Texas was completely lost, Joel lost his identity. He was no longer a father. He felt so empty that he tried to take his own life. He put a gun to his head and pulled the trigger. But at the very last second, he changed his mind. He moved just in time. The bullet only grazed his forehead, leaving a scar. That moment changed everything. Joel had a watch that his daughter had given him for his birthday. On the night she died, the watch broke. Since then, it always shows the exact time of her death. That watch becomes a powerful symbol of Joel's love for his daughter. It's also a metaphor. People say time heals all wounds. But in Joel's case, time froze, his pain never healed. And it's not just Joel. After the outbreak, time stops for the whole world. In fact, throughout the series, you'll notice this symbol, stop clocks, repeated again and again, showing that normal life is gone. After the fall of civilization, Joel joins his brother and the new character named Tess. Together, they travel from Texas to Boston, where the military still has control. Along the way, they meet different groups of survivors. Now let's talk about who's in charge in this world. Right after the collapse, the military takes control under a group called Fedra. Fedra sees the world like a machine. To them, people are just tools. They don't try to fix the world. They only want order and survival. Their focus is on control, not on rebuilding. But not everyone agrees with this. A second group rises, made up of scientists, doctors, teachers, and free thinkers. They believe in finding a cure and rebuilding the world. This rebel group is called the Fireflies. The Fireflies are the second most powerful group after Fedra. Their symbol appears often in the show, a glowing firefly, or what you call the worm shop top. They fight for freedom, science, and hope. Now let's talk about another group in this world, the Hunters. These people are not part of Fedra the military, and they're not with the Fireflies either. They're just survivors, small groups of people who come together for one reason, to stay alive. They don't follow any rules. They're not organized. Some of them act like bandits, and a few are even cannibals. They set traps for other survivors, attack them, and kill them just to survive. At one point, Joel and his brother are forced to join a hunter group and do dirty work, things they never imagined doing, just to make it to Boston alive. Now let's jump to the year 2009, right after the world collapsed. At this time, Ellie, the girl who becomes a main character, is just 6 years old. This is also when we meet a new character, Anna. Before the outbreak, Anna was a nurse, and even after the world fell apart, she stayed in that role. She was living in Boston, but she wasn't part of Fedra. Instead, she joined the Fireflies, along with her best friend, someone she had known since childhood. In 2009, Anna was also pregnant. She arranged to meet the Fireflies in one of their hideouts, a building marked with the Firefly symbol. But unlike Fedra, the Fireflies didn't build strong walls or secure bases. That meant they were always in danger of zombie attacks. Anna goes to the Fireflies' building to give birth. She sits under a tree, painting while she waits. This moment feels symbolic, almost like a religious image. In Christianity, it's said that Jesus was born under a tree, a symbol of new life in dark times. But just as Anna is about to give birth, a zombie attacks her. She tries to fight it off with a knife, but she's bitten during the struggle. After killing the zombie, Anna realizes something shocking. The baby has just been born. That means at the exact moment the baby was born, Anna was bitten by the infected. Now, for the first time since the outbreak, humanity is facing the same situation the cordyceps fungus faced when the Earth started warming. Back then, the fungus had two options: go extinct or mutate. And now humans are at that same turning point. Extinction or evolution. But something incredible happens with this newborn baby. The fungus entered the baby's brain, but instead of killing her, it formed a symbiotic relationship, meaning they lived together without harming each other. The baby's body starts producing a chemical barrier that prevents any new fungus from taking over her brain. This means the baby is immune, the first immune human after the outbreak. To many, she becomes a symbol of hope, almost like a Christ figure in this broken world. At first, of course, no one knows this secret. They name the baby Ellie. After her mother Anna dies, Ellie is taken to an orphanage. They leave her with her mother's knife, which later becomes a powerful symbol of her connection to her mom, just like Joel's broken watch reminds him of his daughter Sarah. So why send Ellie to a Fedra orphanage? Because in this world, children have no safe place. The hunters don't hesitate to kill kids. Even the Fireflies aren't prepared to raise them. Only Fedra takes care of orphans. And this too is symbolic. In film, children always represent the future. By placing Ellie with Fedra, the show suggests that this world has lost its future. Now 14 years have passed. Ellie is 14 years old, living in the Fedra-run orphanage. When the world collapsed, she was just a baby. Joel was 36 years old back then, and now he's 56,20 years after Sarah's death. The rest of our story begins here. At the orphanage, Ellie has a close friend named Riley. Riley is 17, and she's getting close to the age when Fedra forces teens to become soldiers or sends them away. But Riley doesn't want that life. So she secretly joins the Fireflies. They give her a job to take care of an old, abandoned store. There's an old building right in the middle of the city, but Fedra believes it's full of infected, so they sealed it off. But apparently after 20 years, it's no longer dangerous. The infected are either completely gone or moved on. That's why the Fireflies secretly use this place to store their weapons, right under Fedra's nose. Riley is in charge of guarding those weapons. One night, she shows up at Ellie's window and says, "Hey, the Fireflies are transferring me to another city. Let's have one last night together, make it special." Ellie agrees. She's secretly in love with Riley, and this might be their last time together. They sneak out and go on a fun little adventure through the abandoned city. But they make too much noise and accidentally wake up a zombie that had been dormant for years. The infected attacks them both, and they both get bitten. Heartbroken, they sit together, holding hands, waiting to turn. But as we know, Ellie is immune. She doesn't turn. Riley does. And Ellie is forced to do the unthinkable, kill her best friend. The Fireflies find her, realize she's immune, and everything changes. This discovery is so huge that the fireflies send out an urgent order across the country. Everyone regroup at one location. We're protecting a specific hospital. We're bringing Ellie there to create a cure. All their hopes and ideals now rest on Ellie. Meanwhile, things in Boston are falling apart. Most of the fireflies have been killed by Pedro, and their safe houses are being discovered one by one. The last remaining firefly member in Boston decides to ask Joel for help, to take Ellie to the hospital across the country, where the rest of the fireflies are waiting. Now, why would Joel agree to this mission? Because for the past 20 years, Joel has lost his way. After Sarah died, he became a hunter doing terrible things to survive. He killed innocent people. He robbed. He smuggled. Now he's living in a Fedra-controlled zone, and he makes a living as a smuggler, moving everything from drugs to car batteries and whatever else people need. The twist is, those drugs are made by the fireflies. The show wants to make something clear. No group is perfect. Everyone, even the rebels and soldiers, are doing shady things to survive. And Joel is no exception. To make his smuggling jobs easier, Joel even drugs a soldier, giving him pills in exchange for safe passage in and out of the quarantine zone. This moment is very important for understanding Joel's character. When he's in a tight spot, he does whatever it takes to survive. Because of this tough, survival-focused mindset, the fireflies approach Joel with a job. They ask him to treat Ellie like cargo, just another package to deliver. They want him to take her to a secret location where firefly doctors are waiting. Joel agrees. Why? Because deep down he's still trying to protect what's left of his family. His brother Tommy left years ago to live somewhere else and used to call Joel every 2 weeks. But now it's been over 3 weeks with no word. Joel is worried. So he sees this mission as an opportunity. Maybe he can find the fireflies, complete the job, and check on his brother. That's how Joel and Ellie's journey begins. Joel, Tess, and Ellie head out together. But something major happens right at the start. As they're trying to leave the quarantine zone, a soldier stops them. He uses a scanner to check their health, and Ellie's test comes back red. In this world, that means one thing: instant death. No questions asked, no second chances. But Joel has seen this before. It's exactly what happened the night his daughter Sarah was killed. That moment flashes back in his mind, and he snaps. He attacks the soldier and beats him to the ground. This time, he saves the girl. From here, the story follows Joel and Ellie as they travel across a broken America. Along the way, each encounter, each event changes them little by little. And as they journey together, we learn more about the world. One key thing: 20 years after the outbreak, zombies aren't the biggest threat anymore. In one scene, Tess gets scared when she sees a dead zombie in the dark. But Joel calmly tells her, "Don't be afraid of the infected. It's the people you should fear now. There's no law, no civilization. People have become more dangerous than the monsters. The infected are fewer now, and they're not the real danger. Humans are." In the world of The Last of Us, we discover that the army has been on a mission to wipe out a large number of zombies hiding in underground tunnels, like subways or abandoned labs. After clearing these areas, they seal them off to keep the danger contained. But that's not enough to stop the zombies. If there's an explosion or a hole in the ground, the zombies can come back up from underground. Then we learn that zombies are connected to each other through the fungus that spreads across the ground. The roots of the fungus can stretch for kilometers underground, so if you kill one zombie, all the others connected to it can sense it and will attack from far away. Zombies also change over time. Newly infected zombies look almost human but are more aggressive and wild. As they get older, mushrooms start growing on their faces and bodies. They transform into clickers when their sight is lost, their skulls split open, and more mushrooms pop out. These zombies make clicking noises to navigate, using echolocation like bats to find their prey. The older the zombie gets, the more covered in mushrooms it becomes. Their bodies become deformed, and they can even throw spores at people. These ancient zombies can lead the others, guiding hundreds of them to a specific spot. As they continue to age, they become part of nature, sticking to walls or the ground until they are completely destroyed. Now let's talk about Joel. At the start of the journey, Joel is scared of losing someone again. He isn't ready to get close to Ellie, but as events unfold, his feelings begin to change. After they arrive at the Fireflies' base, they discover everyone has been killed. And in a fight with zombies just moments earlier, Tess, Joel's companion, gets infected. This is a turning point for Tess. She was once a member of the Hunters alongside Joel and had done terrible things, even killing innocent people. When Tess learns that Ellie might be the key to saving humanity, she realizes there's a chance for Ellie's survival and a chance to stop the cycle of violence. Tess's character is forever changed because of this. Tess tells Joel to deliver Ellie to the Fireflies at any cost, believing it may be their only chance for redemption. Because Joel cared deeply for Tess, he agrees to continue their journey to get Ellie to the Fireflies. In the first part of their journey, they meet Bill and Frank, but when they arrive, they find the two of them dead. After that, they decide to find Joel's brother, who is a member of the Fireflies. They hope he can lead them to the rest of the Fireflies so they can finally hand Ellie over to them. On their way, something important happens that changes Ellie. At the start, Ellie was a very arrogant character. She often swore and acted irresponsibly. But during this journey, she meets a young boy who becomes very dependent on her. This boy was deaf and used a board to communicate. He was vulnerable. One night, while they're traveling, they're attacked by zombies. During the chaos, the boy gets a wound on his leg that becomes infected. Ellie tries to help him, but in a naive move, she mixes her own blood with his wound, saying, "This is how I want to save your life." The next morning, when the boy wakes up, he's turned into a zombie. This is the first time Ellie has experienced what she saw 20 years ago, losing someone she tried to help but couldn't save. After this, Ellie becomes much more serious. She goes to the board and writes, "I'm sorry." For the first time, she asks, "Which way is west?" This shows that Ellie is now determined, and she's ready to help Joel reach the Fireflies faster so they can create a vaccine. In the sequel, Joel's brother appears. It turns out that Joel's brother has left the Fireflies and joined a secret city. For the first time in the story, time is moving in this city. As we mentioned earlier, in Joel's world, time seems to stand still, but here they're preparing for Christmas. This suggests that life is moving forward. Joel's brother is married to the person who founded the city, and the city's location is completely secret. No one is allowed to know about its existence. That's why Joel's brother stopped calling him. It's a rule of the city, anyone who enters must cut off all contact to keep the location hidden. Why? Because, as we've seen, people in this world can be more dangerous than the zombies. This city is important because, at the end of the story, Joel and Ellie return to this city. Once they're there, they meet a character named Dina, who seems too young and short for them, but she plays an important role in the next season. When Joel finds his brother, an important moment happens. When Joel hugs his brother, Ellie feels upset and jealous, showing how much she cares about her relationship with Joel. We also learn that Joel's brother stopped calling because he's moved on from his past and is upset with Joel. He holds Joel responsible for his past mistakes. That's why he decided to get married, have a family, and forget about Joel. Joel's brother then lies to Joel, saying that he can't take Ellie to the Fireflies because he's too old and isn't a good choice to care for her. Here, we find out that Joel's hearing is very bad, his right ear is deaf, and his left ear is hard of hearing. If he sleeps on his left side, he'll be almost completely deaf, which makes him vulnerable to surprise attacks. Joel's brother says, "If I fail and Ellie is killed, I can't live through the grief of losing her again." Joel seems to understand, but when he leaves the room, he has a nervous breakdown. He dreams of the days before the apocalypse when his watch was still working on his wrist, right next to the Christmas tree. Suddenly, Joel wakes up and sees a girl from behind who reminds him of his daughter, now grown up. In that moment, Joel imagines himself as a grandfather. This leads him to go find Ellie. For the first time in 20 years, someone talks to Joel about the grief of loss. As we mentioned earlier, the character Sam enters the story and has an impact on Ellie's character. Because Ellie had already experienced the pain of losing Sam, she can understand Joel's feelings. After hearing Ellie's words and reflecting on a dream, Joel makes an important decision. He will no longer let Ellie go. In a way, Ellie fills the role of Sarah for Joel. Their next move is to get the Fireflies' location from Joel's brother. They plan to go there to discuss the possibility of making a vaccine. But when they arrive, they discover that the Fireflies want to operate on Ellie's brain. The fungus has grown inside her brain and has formed a symbiotic relationship with her. The Fireflies want to remove the fungus and use it to create a vaccine by growing the cells and turning them into something like a serum. Joel realizes that this is a weapon, and he understands the fungus's instinct. It does whatever it takes to protect its own, even resorting to violence if necessary. So Joel kills all the Fireflies in the most brutal way, even killing the leader. He confronts her, tries to negotiate, and puts down his gun, but in the end, he still attacks her and kills her. This moment leaves the audience divided. Some people believe Joel did the right thing by saving Ellie's life, even though it meant killing many Fireflies and preventing the vaccine from being made. Others agree with the Firefly leader, believing that sacrificing Ellie's life for the vaccine would have been worth it to save humanity. When Joel did this, Ellie was unconscious and didn't understand what had happened. Joel decided to lie to her. He told Ellie that it was impossible to make a vaccine from her, and that's why they brought her back. But in the final moment, when we see Ellie's face, it's clear she didn't believe the lie. And that's where the story ends. Now, Ellie must face the consequences of the decisions she's made. The Fireflies will definitely come after them and won't give up. The story ends here, with Ellie and Joel returning to the same city where Joel's brother is, where life is still moving forward. Well friends, this video was a reminder of Last of Us Season 1. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie recommendations.